Greetings, people of Earth. Welcome to episode 10, State of Decay. I don't have a Star Wars reference anymore. We're past those. Hi, welcome. We're back to the old abandoned highway, speeding along. It's drizzling, because it's March, and we're marching on. I'm not marching. I don't miss marching. Have you ever had to march? Have you ever seen the movie Miss March? Oh, two things we'll talk about. Marching band. I was in band. I don't know about you, because I don't know who you are, you weirdo. Get out of here. Everyone else can stay. I was in marching band. I was in concert band as well. Imagine that. At my school, if you were in concert band, you were also in marching band. You didn't get a choice. I don't know if most bands are that way in high school, but that's how it was. Now, jazz band was optional. I never did jazz band, though I wish I had. However, I valued my sleep time. Jazz band had to be at school at like 7 a.m. I don't think so. Not going to happen. 7 a.m., too early to do anything, let alone be creative on a drum set. Not going to happen. But when jazz band was first offered to me, I was terrified of the drum set. I had no idea what I was doing. Even if you're not a drummer, or even if you are a drummer, you'll know what I'm talking about. Just standing kind of behind it, you look at it and go, what is that? How do you do it? It's like terrifying. So when I first started in band, I played just the snare drum and the bass drum, like kind of separately, and then like, oh yeah, today you're on crash cymbals. No big deal. You hit these cymbals together when I point at you, or whatever. Not a hard thing to do, you know. And when you play percussion, if you're just doing bass drum and snare, you don't need to learn what the notes are on the old what's it called? Stanza? No. The thing where the notes live. Things you forget. What is that called? The staff. The staff? I think it's called a staff. I don't even know. The musical thing with the lines. Wow. I'm a musician, I swear. But that's the point I'm trying to make. I haven't needed to read music in so long. And even when I was reading music, I was only ever reading rhythms. I never had to learn how to read like what the notes A, B, C, D, E, F, G were. I took piano lessons at a young age, and I threw a fit and didn't want to continue, and so I just quit. And I really wish I hadn't. I think I would be a much better musician today. I really would. I always had an ear for it, but I was never good at music theory, like dreadful. It's almost like math. You start to talk to me about music theory, and my eyes glaze over, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. What language is that? I don't do it. I don't understand it. I wish I could. I've tried a couple times. I went to band camp. That's a whole other thing I loved. Band camp was the best time. It was like summer camp, but you get to sleep inside, and you get to hang out and like play music. It's great. Now you don't get to choose the music you want to play, but you know. And there's also like a dance at the end of the week, and there's a like talent show, all kinds of fun stuff. It was good. It was really good. I would recommend if you are in high school, go to band camp or middle school. It was the best time of my life, probably. Like up to that point, anyway. It was so much fun. You meet new people, and you get to do all kinds of crazy stuff. Some good memories. It's like a little weird taste of college life long before you go to college. Plus, it helps that it's at a college, and you're living in college dorms. And no one tells you what to do. You can just eat 6 Pop-Tarts for breakfast if you want. It's true. But marching band, I never really liked it. I always played bass drum in marching band. And the band I was in, you never got to stop. The drummers never got a break. So when the song is over during the march... Sorry, song. It's not a song. Here's the thing you need to know. Songs have lyrics and vocals. Pieces of music don't. So the pieces we were performing, when they would end with the full band, then the drums kick in and play the cadence. So if you've ever watched a marching band and then you just hear like a ba 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 da 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 da, whatever the thing is, whatever your cadence is, and then no one else is playing, that's what that's called. It's called a drum cadence. And the cadence is to help you keep time and to give the rest of the band a little bit of a break, I guess. But the drummers shall receive no breaks. You'd lug in this heavy bass drum, or heaven forbid, you play the quads, which are like tom-toms you carry around, but it's either tri-toms or quads, which is like 3 or 4 of them. So you get this, like you get that guy. You've heard that before. I never played those much. Those weren't really my thing, although I wish I would have. I played the bass drum because I was just into it, the big boom sound, and I could basically hit it as hard as I wanted to. And then, during the cadence, there was this like boom, boom, click, and on the side of the drum we had these metal. They're like metal. They're like clamps on the side, like on the hoop. I don't know if you know how a drum is set up. It's essentially a hoop that pushes the drum head down, and then you screw the hoop on, right? You really screw the hoop on this one. So the hoop had this metal piece on it that was attached to there that you're meant to hit, so you get a click sound. So even the bass drums can almost simulate a snare, so boom, boom, click. But the action of it, like my arms will never forget the action of the click. It's one of those things that unless you've done it, like it's so satisfying. I can't describe it to you enough, but any day if someone said, hey, you want to come just play that, I would love it. And the cadence was fun because you could kind of fiddle with it, and the band director was like, well, it's the drummer's thing. Yeah, if you guys want to do a different cadence, just let me know and we'll work on it. He never had anything to do with it, but it was always like, yo, York, we want to try this for the cadence. And he'd be like, okay. Or like, no, it sucks. He wouldn't say it sucks, though. He rarely let us rarely let us do that. But later in band, he was like, well, you want to try something? It was like way out of character. You want to try something new? He was a very, very good at what he did. Concert band, we were a great band. We always won the competitions. But marching band, we never made it too far. We didn't do too well at marching band. We did fine. We were serviceable. But we weren't winning competitions like we were in concert band. That's where he was very good. I learned a lot at the band camps, too. It was a whole different level. You got like these legit conductors doing insane things. And one of my favorite memories from a performance standpoint was one time I had to play the chimes, which are like these big, long tubes, big, long metal tubes, and they stand up on a bracket. And they sound like, they kind of sound like bells. Whatever, they're big, long bell chime things. But I didn't know how to read the music because, like I said before, I had never been taught how to read because he just didn't bother with it. He's like, you just need to know the rhythms. Don't worry about it. If you have to play a timpani part, I'll just teach it to you. I'll just teach it to you, and you'll learn it per song. Because the timpani had different notes, but it was 3 notes to learn, and it was like not a big deal. It was like ding dong dong. That was it. The timpani is really fun to play. It's got this pedal, and you hit it, and it goes dong. It's like you can like tune it. So if you hear like circus music and you hear that boom, that weird sound, that's a timpani. Or John Williams in Star Wars music, and lots of John Williams music. Like the Indiana Jones, bum, bada bum, boom, bum, bada bum, bum. That bum, bada bum, bum is the timpani. He loves those. Timpani is plural. Timpano, I believe, is a singular timpani. Timpano. You learn something new every day. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's correct. I had some wild drum instructors. The drum instructors were always crazy people. The band directors were always like, they were weird, but the drum guys were nuts every time. There was always something wacky about them. But I remember at band camp one time, the dude blew my mind. I was first kind of getting interested in drum set. I think I was 13 or so. I was first getting interested in drum set, and the guy goes, I'm gonna give y'all a little secret. He did not sound like this. He looked kind of like James Hetfield from Metallica, actually. And he didn't talk like that. But anyway, he's like, I'm gonna give you guys a real big secret tip. Playing drum set is so easy once you learn the basics. He's like, you can be a serviceable drummer with just learning a couple of beats. He's like, I guarantee you'll be able to play pretty much anything. You turn on the radio, you can play it. You just need to learn a couple basic things, and you're there. And he was effing right. It blew my mind because he just went, check this out. He just flipped on a radio, and it was the song "Smooth" by Santana. And he's like, "Check it out," and it's this beat, and he played the beat like immediately. He didn't need to listen to it for any kind of time. He just knew what the beat was because it's a very basic beat. And now it makes sense to me. It's like, duh, yeah. But at the time, my mind was blown. I was like, that's exactly right. He just nailed it. It was incredible. And then he's like, check it out. And he would flip to the next station and play the beat. I mean, almost. And what the point he's trying to make is, in pop music, it's generally one or two beats. There's not a lot of experimentation or whatever. And in pop music, it tends to be very simplified. If you're hearing squeaking and thumping, that's my windshield wipers. It is raining, but it's not very hard. But yeah, so in pop music, it's like much simpler. So that was one thing that once I started to play drum set, I realized I don't want to play pop music or even like pop rock music, because I did like rock music at the time, because it was all the same. It didn't interest me, and my brain got really bored of just playing these same 4/4 or like you know what I mean? That's like every song on the radio, pretty much. There's some exceptions, of course, but most of the songs are going to have that. So my brain got very tired of playing that kind of beat. So I then turned to alternate kinds of music that have much more interesting time signatures. Just insane ones. So I really like sort of progressive style music, where it's definitely not for everyone, because some people will listen to it and go, I don't even know where the beat is. I don't understand that. You can't dance to that. Well, yes, you can. It makes your soul dance, bro. Anyway, that's band camp. It was great. That's how I started to learn how to play drum set. I got into it. My parents bought me a drum set. I got to go pick it out. It was wild. They totally, my parents had a lot of faith that I was going to stick with it, because they spent, it was over $1,000, I believe, on this drum set. I was so lucky. I was so lucky that they believed that I would actually use it. And I did. I absolutely did. They let me go to the place and pick it out, and I tried a bunch out, and there was a guy there who was very nice, and he had been doing it for a long time, and he was in bands, and he kind of knew what I would be interested in just by the kind of music I thought I wanted to play, and he hooked me up with a great kit, Tama Rockstar. And I love that kit. Still have that kit. It's the one I used to record. A couple episodes ago, I talked about how I had been in a metal band for a long time, Estrus. That's the same kit I used to record the drums for that album, and pretty much every show we ever played was that kit. Love it. It has Admiral Akbar in the front of the kick drum, like a vinyl sticker of him. It's great. A custom-made one just for me. Love it. But it was crazy because after I'd been playing for so long, so many years, and my band was just starting to pick up and like get shows in the area, we played a show at a town probably 90 minutes or maybe even 2 hours from home. And randomly, years and years later, that guy who had sold me that drum set, which, by the way, was in a town an hour from where I lived, I recognized him immediately because I'd spent so much time with him. Just, I got my drum set picked out, and he showed me this and that, and then I would come back and be like, I need cymbals, I need drumsticks, I need blah, blah, blah. He was always the guy there to help me out. So I kind of formed a relationship with him a little bit. But I never, it's not like I hung out. He was much older than me. He was always there to help me, and he did a really good job. And I always appreciated that. And it's really valuable. Like when you go to a store and like you have your guy, he knows what you want, or she. They know what you're looking for, or they have a good idea. And they'll even go so far as to call you when something comes in, like, hey, I think you're really going to want this. Or when you come in and they go, hey, I set something to the side for you. I don't know if you want this or not. No big deal, but this seemed like something you'd be into. And they know what you're after. You almost don't need to tell them. Anyway, I was at this show hundreds of miles from my home, and that guy's just randomly there with his band playing on the same show. And it was this weird, like, full circle. And I went up to him, and I was like, hey, man, your set sounded great. And also, that drum set I just played, you sold this to me years ago. You sold this to me 8 years ago or something. It was nuts. And he's like, "Are you serious, man?" And he's like, "Maybe I remember. I don't know." And I'm like, "It's okay if you don't remember, but you really helped me, and you really inspired me to keep keep at it, and to use my drum set to its fullest. You really helped me a lot. Like, you helped me tune it and all kinds of stuff." And he's like, "Well, I did that for a lot of people, and I appreciate you saying so." It was really cool. He was really cool about it. We didn't keep in touch or anything. I haven't seen him since, and that was years ago, even at this point. Like, probably, God, 9 years ago or so. Almost 10, because, I mean, the band hasn't been happening since 2009. Whoa, I'm old. I started at a young age, though. I played my first real show at a legitimate club when I was 14 in St. Louis. My parents drove me, and it was this place called the Creepy Crawl. Right downtown St. Louis, just blocks from the Cardinal Stadium. I mean, legit big city club. I was 14. I did not set up my drum set properly the first time, and it fell over during my set. I can't believe that happened. I was so embarrassed. Like, my heart stopped. But, I mean, it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't a show ender or anything. Plus, we weren't that good. We got showed up by everybody that was there. But it was an important first step. It was very cool. Man, that was so long ago. I'm smiling just thinking about it. There's some really funny pictures of me. Long black hair and whatever. Weird. I had these weird zip jeans. I don't know. Did you have these? They were jeans that turned into slightly shorter jeans. I wouldn't call them jean shorts, but they would zip just below the knee. So they weren't even quite shorts. They almost were. I don't know what you call those. I'm not a clothing expert. But they would zip under the knee, and you could have a little bit of breathing room for your legs. I never unzipped them, though. I just, for whatever reason, that was the style, I guess. I don't know. They unzipped. They weren't black. They were just like normal blue jeans, but they had this weird zip. I don't know. I did have some of those Jinkos. Well, they weren't Jinkos. No, I take that back. But they were, what was the brand? Trip? Those Trip jeans? They weren't jeans. They're pants. And if you're a goth or ever were, you know what I'm talking about. They're those pants with all the chains and the buckles and the clasps and things hanging down. And they're pretty large and in charge, if you know what I'm saying, if you've ever seen a goth person. Water. I had a pair of those. I admit it. I painted my fingernails and wore eyeliner and had long hair, and I don't know what I was doing. I just did it because it weirded people out, and I guess I like that. I don't think it was any deeper than that. I just thought, like, this looks kind of good on me, I thought at the time, and I'm not denying it. I looked good. And I learned how to do my own eyeliner and fingernail polish badly. And it was just who I was, I guess. I'm not turning my back on that goth guy. He was fine. I don't know if I'd hang out with him now. He's probably super annoying, but I bet we're all like that with our old selves. What would you say to yourself 10 years ago or 15 years ago now? I think I would say, hey, why don't you just chill out? I was so hyper, and I think I really needed to be the center of attention, and that's why I think partly why I did all those things, like being in a band and do talent shows, and I would, in a group, I would always probably be too loud and, have you seen this? Did you hear what I said? I'm so funny, whatever. It's something I tried to scale back, and it's something that I know no one's ever said, dude, you're annoying. I'm sure they've thought it. Even now I'm thinking, oh, your voice is grating on me. Stop talking. But that's just me. I find myself to be pretty annoying and maybe a little too attention-seeking. I don't know. Maybe I'm not. But at least back then, for sure, there's no question. So, past self, just shut up and listen for a minute, okay? What other people have to say is also important. I think I learned it. It's important to listen. I think listening is so important. I don't think it, I know it. And I'm just not good at it. Even now, sometimes halfway through, someone's telling me something and I'll go, look, don't be mad. But I wasn't listening at all. I also think I have ADD for sure. I'm sure you could probably tell I've got ADD. It's diagnosed for sure ADD. I used to be medicated for it, and sometimes I think I still should be. But it's something I've had to deal with. But for some people, myself included, it's sometimes a blessing and a curse. Sometimes it lets me do multiple things at once, and I feel like sometimes it works the opposite way, where I can only concentrate on one thing. I get so fixated on one thing, and that's why I have this drive on some things that's dumb. Sometimes all I can think about is, like when I'm making an album, all I can think about is I got to finish that track, or like while I'm in it, the rest of the world does not exist. I'm sure that's just something that normal people get, but it's pretty serious for me. I slip into an alternate dimension, and then it's like I wake up when I'm done. I get kind of cranky when I'm interrupted with that too, I'll admit it. If I'm in the middle of a flow with something, I hate being interrupted. It's the worst. Because trying to be creative and someone like messing with you, that's the worst. That's the worst. Trying to write something, be it like an essay or do homework or write a song or try to be creative and think of lyrics or poetry. It's so hard if there's a distraction. That's the worst. Yeah, that's hard stuff. Man, this one was all over the place. And I wasn't sure what I was going to come up with today, and I just stumbled over some words and fell into Bandcamp. What was the other thing? Oh, Miss March. There's a movie called Miss March. I'm not going to recommend it. I haven't seen it in so long. I said it in the beginning part of the thing, and I wanted to address that I did say that. And it's a movie that I've seen. I think it's from the Whitest Kid You Know. They were like a comedy group. They had a show on MTV, which I thought was pretty funny at the time. I haven't seen it really since. They had a funny sketch about the real reason Abraham Lincoln died, because John Wilkes Booth hammered him in the butt because he wouldn't shut up during the play, and he had a hammer, and he nailed his butt for some reason. I don't know why. Yeah, so that's a thing. I won't link it, but yeah, that's there. Anyway, last thing. Earlier I was going through just an old random mix CD, and I found this track that I recorded years ago. Maybe, I don't even know. It's a very long time ago. And it's me. I don't know why I'm telling you this, because it's like weird and embarrassing, but I just came across it, and I think it's kind of funny, and I'm happy to make fun of myself. And I'm like doing this witch voice. Like I'm doing this, like, I was really into black metal at one point. I still like it, to be honest. There are some bands I'm really into, just for something different sometimes. But all the singers have this, like, I call it a witch voice, and they just like, it's like this. You know, you've probably heard it. You've probably made fun of it. It's fine. I get how ridiculous it is, but I still love it. Anyway, I did this weird electronic, I don't even know. It doesn't sound very good, but I found the song, and I listened to the whole thing, and I was like, man, that is not very good. But the chorus gets stuck in my head, if you can even call it that. And yeah, I'll leave you with a little bit of that. And with that, I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you for continuing to listen. Let me know what you thought. Let me know what your experience was in band, if you had one or didn't have. I didn't even talk about band trips. We did tons of band trips. Maybe I'll talk about it next time. All right, guys, may the force be with you, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye!